What's going on, guys? It's ETAPRIME back here again. Today I'm going to be taking a look at this 10-inch $140 10-core tablet from Chuwi. This is known as the Hipad, and on paper it actually seems like a really good deal for $140. But before we get started, I do want to get this out of the way. The version I actually received is the LTE version. I personally have no reason to use LTE on a tablet, so I'm going to be reviewing this as the regular non-LTE version. And these are available on Amazon for $140, and on Amazon Prime Day 2019 they went on sale for $111. There are a couple differences between the two. The LTE version is gray and the regular version is black with the red accents on the back. There's also a docking connector on the LTE version that allows you to connect a keyboard that is not present on the regular version. So inside of the box, you're obviously going to receive the Hipad tablet. We also have our USB wall charger. This is 2 amp, 5 volts, and this does not do any quick charging, but it does use USB Type-C for charging. We also get a 3.5mm audio jack and our SD card slot. So like I mentioned, I received the LTE version. We got this gray back here, but if you purchase the Wi-Fi version, you do get these red accents. There's no LEDs or anything like that, but they both have rear aluminum covers, and this actually helps keep the battery and the CPU cooler. And finally, for the exterior, we do have a pinhole microphone, our volume rocker, and our power button. Taking a look at the specs, it's actually pretty decent for a $140 tablet. For the CPU, we have the MediaTek Helio X27. This is an MT6797X 10-core CPU, or Deca Core. 4 A53 cores at 1.6, 4 A53 cores at 2 GHz, and 2 bigger A72 cores at 2.6 GHz. The GPU is a Mali-T880 MP4. This is a 4-core GPU, and it will turbo up to 875 MHz. Now, this tablet only contains 3 GB of LPDDR3 RAM. I really wish they would have went with an extra gig, making it 4, but unfortunately, this is what we're getting for $140. The screen looks absolutely beautiful. It's a 10.1-inch 1200 by 1920 fully laminated IPS display, but this is going to be a deal killer for a lot of people. It's only running at 45 Hz. There's 32 GB of onboard storage, but I have seen a 64 GB model floating around online. Plus, both of these do contain a micro SD card slot, good up to 128 GB. 802.11ab GN and AC Wi-Fi, so we can pick up that 5 GHz network, and Bluetooth 4.0, so we can connect speakers or controllers. A 7,000 mAh non-user replaceable battery, and they claim around 8 hours of battery life out of this thing. With gaming, I'd say around 6. And finally, the tablet runs a stock version of Android 8.0. And one thing I forgot to mention, yes, it does have a front and a rear camera. These are both 5 megapixels, but I've never seen a camera on any tablet that's worth using. So the very first thing I like to do when I get a new Android device is run some benchmarks. First up, we have Geekbench 4. Single core 1779, multi 4178. Now this is far from being on the high end, but scores higher than the Amazon Fire 7, Fire 8, and Fire 10. I was actually expecting to see around a 5000 multi-core here because we have 10 cores, but 4178 isn't bad for a $140 tablet. Next up, we'll check out 3D Mark. For Slingshot OpenGL ES 3.1, we scored a 1094. This does support Vulkan, so I was able to run that test with an 1135. And finally, Antutu with a 103,702. It's not bad for the price, and the RAM scored a little higher than I thought it would. The final test I ran was a quick Wi-Fi test, and I am connected to my 5 GHz network. My home network is rated at 450 megabits down and 30 up. This is actually doing pretty well over Wi-Fi, at 194 down and 23 up. So like I mentioned, this tablet is running Android 8.0 Oreo, and we do have access to the full Google Play Store. Now I want to get into a little bit of video streaming. I'm just going to test out Netflix and YouTube, and then we'll move on to some native Android gaming, and finally, emulation. Netflix streaming is super smooth on this tablet. You're not going to have any trouble doing Netflix, Hulu, HBO, Amazon Prime. It's all going to work just great on here.
Alex, what he's working on requires a lot of precision, and Leah is doing an interactive.
And it's the same story with YouTube. Now this isn't going to do 4K video, but we can do 1080p 60 FPS. Unfortunately, the screen is only 40 Hz, but it's really hard to tell. it's still really smooth and it looks great. Native Android gaming actually exceeded my expectations for this tablet. This is Asphalt 9 and it's running really smooth. I also tested some of the Rockstar games like Bully and San Andreas, and both of those run super smooth also. Minecraft Pocket Edition's been really optimized over the years, so I expected it to run fine on here, but I did want to do a quick dynamite test. In the past, I've actually almost been able to freeze cheaper tablets doing this test here, so we'll see what happens. And it actually handles it fairly well, so Minecraft's going to be no issue for this tablet. Moving over to a higher-end native Android game, this is PUBG Mobile, and the drop-in was much smoother than I thought it would be. It seems to function pretty fine for a $140 tablet running this game. After all, I mean, this is one of the higher-end games that you're going to be running on your phone or tablet, and I was able to get a kill off, well, until I ran out of ammo. Alright, so now it's time to move over to my favorite part, emulation testing. I'm going to be using the iPega 9083 controller, and as you can see, the tablet fits right in here. It's spring-loaded. It'll hold it while you play a game, and it connects over Bluetooth. If you're interested in picking one of these up, I will leave a link to Amazon in the description. They're around $28. First up, we have some PlayStation 1 emulation. This is Bloody Roar 2. I'm using RetroArch and the PC-SX ReARM Core. Basically, this tablet's going to handle PlayStation 1 just fine if you want to do any 32X, Sega Genesis, PC Engine, some FBA, Neo Geo, Atari 2600, SNES. All of those are going to work fine, but I'm really worried about the higher end stuff, because on paper this is a pretty beefy tablet, but in my tests, it doesn't perform well with higher end emulation. Like PSP using the PP-SSPP emulator. Unfortunately, this tablet just isn't doing PSP very well, or Dreamcast, as you'll see in the next test. I'm at 1x resolution, I have all the speed hacks on. I mean, this is as low as we can go, and I cannot get full speed out of PSP with any of the games that I tested, unless I put frame skip on, and then you're really not at full speed, you're running at half speed. And here's an example. This is Ratchet & Clank with frame skip set to 1. It should be running at 30 FPS, we're only running at 15. I mean, it's playable like this, but I hate the way it looks, so I'm going to go ahead and turn it off. I have all the settings as low as we can go with this game, and we just can't hit that 30 FPS mark. And the same goes for Dreamcast emulation using the ReDream emulator. This one isn't that hard to run. This is Marvel vs. Capcom 2, but we got tons of stutter. N64 emulation also suffers on this tablet. Now I understand that Conker's Bad Fur Day is a harder one to emulate, but I've been able to get this to run at full speed on lower end devices. And keep in mind, we're only on the initial tutorial stage here, and this is the easiest thing to emulate out of the whole game. If we were to go to the official first stage, it would just lag out really bad. It's not the worst that I've seen, but with specs that this tablet has, we should be getting full speed out of this one. So in the end, this tablet is not great for emulation whatsoever. I haven't had really good luck. I mean, if you want to do everything that the Raspberry Pi can do, this will also do it, but that's about it. However, this is a decent tablet for native Android gaming, video playback, and just general Android use. It's got a really nice display, great speed and range on the Wi-Fi built in, and it does support 5 GHz. Battery life is another big plus for this thing. They claim 8+ hours, but I'd say around 6, and that's really not bad for a $140 tablet. So should you pick one of these up? I mean, it's really up to you. If you're looking for a tablet specifically for retro gaming or emulation, I would kind of stay away from this, but if you want a decently priced 10-inch tablet for native Android gaming, this is a great option. Regular retail price on the Hipad is around $140. If you're interested in picking one up, I will leave links in the description to Amazon. I have seen them recently on sale for $111, so definitely keep your eye out. So that's pretty much it for this video, guys. I really appreciate you watching. If you have any questions or you want to see anything else running on the Hipad besides emulation, let me know in the comments below. But like always, thanks for watching.